Hello, fellow movie crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're going to be reviewing the comic book adaptation of Bloodshot, starring Vin Diesel. Now, for me, I didn't really know much about Bloodshot, the comic book, before this movie came out. Honestly, he kind of sounds a lot like a bunch of comic book characters that we've seen before, but I didn't hate the trailers for this. This film's actually... I think number 20 on my most anticipated of 2020 this year, which most of that list has gotten pushed back to 2021 because of everything going on in the world right now, which sucks. So that list is kind of, done. But yeah, this was on my list because the trailers actually looked cool. And with Vin Diesel, it can kind of go one or two ways with his films. It's either going to be really bad, or it's secretly really, really good, and it becomes a cult classic, kind of like, Chronicles of Riddick or Pitch Black, or it could be something like, The Last Witch Hunter. But yeah, Bloodshot, watching the trailer for it, I mean, yes, they did release the twist in the trailer, which I hate that movies do that. But it had potential. I thought it really could have potential to be a potential good cult classic or another franchise for Vin Diesel to launch off of when he inevitably stops making Fast and the Furious films. So let's go ahead and jump in the review and see exactly what I thought of Bloodshot. Bloodshot, basically the main plot is that we follow Vin Diesel's character. He's Ray Garrison, and he's basically a I can't remember what branch of the military. He's either Marines or he's a Ranger. But he basically gets sent onto a mission to take care of a drug lord, and then he's on vacation with his wife before he gets attacked by this one dude, and in the process gets killed along with his wife. He is woken back up by a tech genius played by Guy Pearce, Dr. Emil Harding, and he's basically being told that he has nanobites in his blood that repairs him. So if he gets shot in the face, his face will basically, be put back together by the nanobites. So he's pretty much indestructible. He meets fellow other basically assassins like him, such as Isa Gonzalez, who plays KT, Jimmy Dalton, played by Sam Huhan. I know I'm saying that wrong. And then also I think that's Tibbs, played by Alex Hernandez. I could be wrong on that one, though. But yeah, basically, his whole goal is that he wants to find the man who killed his wife. In this case, it'd be Martin Axe, played by Toby Kebbell. So with his newfound powers, and Tyson makes him stronger, faster, basically indestructible, he basically goes to find the killer. But thus, in the trailers, there is a twist to that, which I'm not going to mention here, because unlike the trailers, I'm not a spoiler guy. But yeah, that's the general plot of Bloodshot, kind of in a nutshell. What works with Bloodshot, for the most part, the concept of what these characters could do and could be actually is pretty cool. KT's character, played by Isa Gonzalez, I think she actually does a really good job. I personally have only really seen her in Baby Driver, but she's definitely a growing actress. She's going to be in a lot of films. She's been in quite a bit. I just only remember Baby Driver off the top of the head. I really like her performance in this. Vin Diesel is Vin Diesel. He's doing his normal Vin Diesel-esque kind of thing. He's just kind of growling through all of his lines. Thank God he doesn't have a makeout scene in this movie for the most part, because we've all seen him make out on screen, aka Triple X. He's awful at it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, see the first Triple X film and watch Vin Diesel making out. It is incredibly uncomfortable. But Guy Pearce is playing his normal Guy Pearce self. The one character I actually quite enjoyed was Lamorne Morris, who plays Wilfred Wiggins. Anyone who watched New Girl, he's on that. Winston on New Girl. I actually really enjoyed his character as well as KT. The action sequences, at least for the first 3/4 of the film, I thought were worked pretty well. The last battle is very, very badly CGI'd, a lot like Mummy Returns' version of the Scorpion King. And if anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, check out that, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about in terms of bad CG. But the main problem with Bloodshot is that it jumps right into the twist of the film way too fast, because it almost feels like they didn't expect this movie to get a sequel because they didn't believe in the film that they were making. Now, this movie, if they had given it the proper time and proper storyline building, they could have made this into at least a two-film story. Like, you could have built this story on longer with Vin Diesel and the rest of these characters that have been built to basically cause destruction. You could have built those characters up better. You could have made them work together more as a team. You could have built a camaraderie between him and Guy Pearce's character and KT, and you really could have kind of made something about this a lot more than what the film actually was. It's like they just kind of wanted to rush through this film because they knew they didn't have what they had in it, and just threw the twist in there within the first 30-45 minutes. And then that was just the rest of the film, which they could have held that twist off till the end of the movie, and they could have had a whole nother film that would have been the last half of this film that I think actually would have worked really well, because that twist would have felt more important. It would have been a bigger impact on the characters than it would have been in this film if we just would have built some damn character development in this overall. Because of that, this film is just there's a good film in there. There is. But it's just so rushed and not given the time to breathe properly that it ultimately makes it fail in an overall score. And because of that, it's just a very incomplete movie for me. Because like there's good stuff in it. The performances aren't bad for the most part in this film, and it's building to something that could potentially be a pretty good two-film story arc, or even longer if they were able to find another continuation to it. But like I said, they just wanted to kind of rush it out. It looks like this movie felt more like it was a cheap paycheck movie or something for Vin to do in between Fast and Furious films than to want to build a franchise out of it, because it is a comic book movie. You could have had a franchise out of this, and you could have built on and done more with this, but instead it just felt like a one-note film that ultimately had potential to be great. But instead, it's just going to be another one of those Vin Diesel movies that no one talks about in a year or two. So going to my recommendations, if you want to see a movie that has the potential to be great but ultimately falls short of the finish line, I can recommend Bloodshot for you. If you're not into gory films or even comic book movies in a sense, then obviously I can't recommend Bloodshot to you. Go into my overall score. Like I said, for what I saw in the film and what it could have been, I enjoyed it for the most part, but obviously there's a lot of issues with it overall. So going to my scores, I'm going to give Bloodshot a 6.4 out of 10 because I could see what it could have become. And ultimately, that's what makes me sad at the end of the day, is because I know what it could be and what it ended up not being. And because of that, that's why it gets a 6.4 out of 10 for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button to the channel. And of course, obviously, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this if you feel like it's worth sharing. And of course, obviously, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we've got kind of an indie film, Guns Akimbo. That was definitely a movie, and we'll definitely be going into that next. And then, like I said, My Spy comes out on Friday, so be on the lookout for that review. And yeah, until next time, get to don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.